Tuesday night on the pitch here in Santa Clarita. I'm Matt Robinson alongside Mari Kneisel. We are ready for our second match of this men's and women's soccer doubleheader here today. Santa Barbara women took the first match over the College of the Canyons ladies by a final of 2-0. COC men trying to turn it around and pick up a win, actually. They're first in a few games. College of the Canyons right now sits at 1-3-2 on the season. They're 0-1-1 in their last two, and they have not scored a goal in their last 180 minutes of play, losing 2-0 last time out against Santa Rosa on Friday last week. Had a 0-0 draw against Fresno on Tuesday. But Phil Marsland trying to get his team back in the win column, get back closer to 500. And it's been a struggle this year on the goal-scoring front for Santa Barbara, or for College of the Canyons, I should say, as just 4 goals scored so far on the season. Taking on a Vaqueros squad that's 10th in the state in goals for with 12. They've produced 65 shots this season. They've had 33 of those on goal, all in the top 20 of the state of California. And Santa Barbara, a perennially good team in the 3C2A, Mari, this year off to a rough start at 2-3-1, but did pick up points in their last 2 with a win over Pasadena and a tie against Glendale. As we are just about ready to get underway.
There's a lot of new faces out here for me this year. I'm trying to take it all in and see who we have.
Santa Barbara in their whites, starting with the ball here in this first half. College of the Canyons in their blues with gold shoulders, some white striping in there as well, their traditional home uniforms. As the Vaqueros work with the ball onto the near side of the field. Canyons able to defend for the moment. As there's Nick Sandoval with it, had it, lost it. Taken away by Santa Barbara. Mario Vega will slip it onto the outside. Tapia Palacios will send it to the middle. Santa Barbara not doing much with it on the attack, though, and it'll go out off of Santa Barbara. It'll be a Canyons throw in here. So first whistle of the match, first throw-in of the match. Talked about for Santa Barbara, one of the top teams in the state in goals for this year. College of the Canyons, like we talked about, 4 goals scored. They have produced a good number of shots, 32. They just have not been able to cash just 17 on goal this year, and that's been a theme for the last number of years for College of the Canyons.
Yeah, they always have a good couple opportunities. It's just capitalizing on those opportunities.
It really is a defensive structure that Phil Marsland likes to play, and that's what the Cougars need to play to be successful. As it seems this season, as it's just been a lot of low-scoring affairs. You look for College of the Canyons, so far in their 6 matches, there's been 4 clean sheets. The Cougars have had 2 of them, both coming in ties, 0-0 ties, and the other 2 coming in 2-0 losses where they've been shut out twice. So 4 times without a goal this season. 180 minutes plus now as we go into this one. Santa Barbara is controlling the pace here early on. Cougars get a takeaway as Diego Briseño had it for the moment. He'll play it back where it's collected by Jack Whitney. Whitney will drive it ahead. Cougars trying to run forward to it, but Santa Barbara with the takeaway. Angel Diaz clears it back up towards midfield. They get it onto the near side to Vega, who will send it back to Diaz where he'll control. Sandoval for Canyons, one of the 4 different Cougars with goals this year. He's on that front line for COC. Garrett Carrillo, Gage Fritz also with goals this season.
Those names are familiar to me. I remember them last year. Carrillo is not out there today. He's
usually in that back.
Yeah, I think he might have been out sick today.
It's usually in kind of that wide backer position on the far side of the field from us in the first half when the Cougars move in this direction. And is usually very impactful on the game.
Yes,
I'll put
strong player back there.
More emphasis on the rest of the Cougars' back line.
And that's all right. It's good to have it now in the beginning of season. See who else we can throw in there if we need to, right?
Exactly. Should hear a lot from Gage Fritz today as well. He's usually very impactful on contests.
Yes. Remember last year he was very good at controlling the ball in the midfield and controlling the flow of the midfield.
There's Vegas Roberts on a good tackle, knocks the ball out. Roberts wearing the armband today for College of the Canyons. Last week it was Soleimani, the captain, or the last time we saw the Cougars here at home, which was actually over a week ago as well. Last time College of the Canyons played at home, a 2-1 win over Lemoore on September 6th. So we set a couple of games on the road last week against Fresno and Santa Rosa, one resulting in a tie, one resulting in a loss. Santa Barbara on the attack here, ball into the box, a chance on, and they put it in. An early goal in the first 5 minutes for Santa Barbara, and it's Juan Torres with the goal. Their leading scorer puts it in, his 4th of the year, and Santa Barbara with a 1-0 lead.
Looked like he was just sitting there waiting for it, to be honest.
Goal, Santa Barbara, number 9, Juan Carlos Torres.
I don't even know if they knew he was there. He had all the time in the world.
So Juan Carlos Torres, one of the leaders in the state in goals for this year, now with 4 of them. He's also one of the leaders in the state in shots, and he just seems to find a way to get to the net. A 1-0 Santa Barbara lead in the first 5 minutes of the match. So familiar spot for College of the Canyons, playing from behind here early on. Not the start you wanted if you're Phil Marsland's squad.
I mean, he finds the space in between the
Yes.
defense. I was watching the Cougars go back, and they were a little flat, I felt, on that. That allows him to make those diving runs and find the pockets of space.
Had another one just a moment ago that nearly created another opportunity. The goal in the 5th minute. Hunter Maiden, the keeper for College of the Canyons, 0-1-1 so far in the season. He's given up 3 goals on 15 shots, now 4 goals on 16 shots with that goal from Torres. There's Santa Barbara again trying to get on an attack, and a foul going to be called against Whitney as he tripped up Aiden Tapia Palacios. And it'll be a dangerous spot for Santa Barbara here. Looks like Leo Rubio setting up. Checking the feel of the ball. Haruito standing around near the ball as well. Ship this one to the box. Bounces around near the top of the 6, not cleared. Ito gonna collect onto it. His pass cleared away. Good job stepping in that time from Contreras. Scratch that. Diego Briseño clearing that out. Marco Rotundo, the goalkeeper for Santa Barbara, well out of his space to help put Santa Barbara in their shape as they move ahead.
And Santa Barbara's just moving it quickly. They are moving it quickly, and the Cougars are just a half step behind.
So here's another opportunity. Rubio creating it. He got knocked down, wanted a foul, didn't get it. So here's Whitney now. Into the middle to Fritz. Fritz softly onto the outside, had a man running, but just didn't have enough pace on it to put his man back into pace. And Canyons again a turnover.
Gotta have those options. If you don't have those options, you're gonna turn right into 4 players and turn it over.
corner kick upcoming. Santa Barbara City.
Santa Barbara with a corner kick here. Again, Torres with another opportunity. That time stepped into. Good job by Canyons to mark him that time. Now here's Ito, whose shot is blocked.
I think one thing's pretty clear in this game tonight is that the Cougars are going to be a little bit on their toes, and the Vaqueros are very structured in what they do, and they move fast. So the Cougars are going to be defending a little bit more, which could be good in the early part of the season. You know, that's important to get that strong, and then we can move forward.
Jose Chavez able to knock that one out off of a Vaquero and out of play. For College of the Canyons, with a dangerous striker like Torres out there, do you just mark him at all times, or do you just hope you have a mark on him at all times? I mean, you being a dangerous striker yourself.
I was him. And that was, I mean, I loved it. I loved not being marked for the reason I could play with them, right? Like, I could move. If they weren't communicating, they don't know where I am. And he's quick, and he makes those runs. And it's whatever Phil has decided to do with that, or maybe he hasn't done anything with it at halftime. They'll figure it out. I was never a big fan of the man marking. Sometimes it works, and you have to do it. But I think it's just where he's at, and the Cougars just have to be aware, and they have to be structurally sound. And, I mean, it maybe is a little bit of a blessing they're getting someone like that already this early in the season. They can figure it out now.
So here's a chance for College of the Canyons as Moronu had it for a second, and then it got knocked out. That's a good point. Like you talk about, you were that player when you played. Not, of course, you don't want to be marked. You want to be open. You want to have the opportunities. What do you do offensively as that player when you do have that 1v1 mark the entire time? Somebody just shadowing you the entire time on the field.
You just keep moving. Keep moving. Or you wait and you get them off guard.
Like you did on the first goal, kind of slipped into space.
Yeah. You wait for them to become lackadaisical. That's a hard thing to do, is get out of your structural movements that you are used to on the field and having to pay attention to one person. You got to wait for that opportunity for that person to be lackadaisical, and then you make your move.
This ball layered in, but Canyon's able to knock it down. Fritz was there defensively. Well, that's why I asked, because I know coming from a different space, a sport that's very similar in hockey, but there were times where we would just shadow a player, say, look, your job every time 4 is on the ice, you're on the ice with him, and you just skate wherever he is. But you can do that in a 5-on-5 sport. Field's a little, surface is a little more condensed.
Yes.
There's walls in the way. There's other things.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes it really gets in a player's head. I've seen that happen, and I've seen players melt down because they can't handle someone being directly on them. And sometimes it works, but also you got to know how to, as a offensive player.
So here's Torres creating, and another chance, but Ito just sends it wide. Torres that time just slipping it off to Haro Ito, who's got 2 goals this season, but he tried to go near post from the far side of the field and missed.
And it was a good job by Maiden coming out a little bit, making him choose the more difficult shot.
And that time Ito actually on the opposite side of the field from where he's actually playing. You see him in your screen right now.
And that's what makes them so dangerous. That's what we've seen them do in the first part of this game, is everyone's moving, but they're all still structured.
Is it more of, not to take a Ted Lasso term, because this is what I know, but is it more of a total football style that they're playing where there is more movement, there is more motion? Or
maybe. I mean,
early on, like, it's hard for us to tell from down on the field.
But look at, everyone's moving, and they're moving quickly. And we haven't really been able to see the Cougars attack, and they have to move quickly with the ball, right? Because the Vaqueros, everything about what they're doing is quick. If they don't have a decision made, they're going to lose the ball.
And that's a very good point that maybe those that at home that don't know as much about the game don't understand. Like, you watch Canyons, it's a lot of long touches on the ball, where I think with Vaqueros so far early on, it's been a lot of quick touches off to different players.
Yeah.
As there was a chance for Canyons to try and get an attack, and they'll get a foul called. And a good set-piece opportunity here for COC. Nick Sandoval down low.
And this is where the Cougars are going to have to take the opportunities where they can, because they have not been able to get much of an offense going. And I have a feeling that might be the way the game is going tonight. And so these opportunities are very important for the Cougars.
Keep an eye on number 12, Arya Soleimani. He's in the middle of the field right now. One of the players with height for the Cougars, 6'2", out of Golden Valley High School. Last week, he had a couple of good opportunities on these set pieces, flying through the middle. As Contreras going to take it, drives it low. Diving out was the keeper. Ball still loose and cleared away, as Rotundo got a piece of it initially, and the Cougars just couldn't capitalize on it. But a good look here on their first set piece.
That was an awesome ball in by Contreras. That was beautiful. It curved just enough to where the keeper thought he had made the right judgment, and it curved a little bit away from him at the last second. That would have been a great opportunity for the Cougars to get a head-on or a volley in.
Santa Barbara back on the attack now as they control the ball. They turn it over, though. Canyons back with an opportunity on a counter. Chavez trying to spin to the outside. Christopher Chavez still with it. Needs to move the ball. Does to Fritz. Fritz gets bumped. Lost the ball. Taken away by Santa Barbara.
And that's where I'm talking about. Once you get the ball, once you're going to the ball to get the ball, you need to have one or two decisions made where you want to go. Because this game is moving very, very quickly.
So 1-0 lead for Santa Barbara. They got the first goal in the first 5 minutes of the match, the 5th minute, by Juan Carlos Torres. His 4th of the season. Puts him at the top of the state right now in goals scored. The Cougars back with control. There's Roberts ahead, but that one's not going to get to its intended target. Picked off by Vega. Vega stopping up. Drops it back. Coming up to help out was Angel Diaz. Trying to get it back to Vega, taken away by Canyons. The Cougars will move back on the offensive. Service that time from Contreras down in deep, but it was well too ahead of Josue Chavez. And Rotundo able to come out and collect it.
And those kind of balls tonight might not work for the Cougars because Rotundo does play out away from his goal. He plays high. And that has to be something you look at and not make a turnover with.
Ito again on that far side of the field creating, and he creates a throw-in from the deep end of the field against Canyons. Talking about Rotundo being well out high. You look at him right now, you can't see him on your screen, but he's almost all the way out to the midfield circle.
Yeah, and some keepers do that, and also depends on how comfortable they are doing that with their team. And from what we've seen, the Vaqueros get back on defense very quickly.
Deep throw here for Santa Barbara. First and second bounce around. Now a chance and a shot, and they score on a deflection. On a third bounce, Sebastian Rodriguez has it, and Santa Barbara with a 2-0 lead.
Goal, Santa Barbara, number 25, Sebastian Rodriguez.
So Rodriguez's first of the year comes in the 18th minute. And Santa Barbara with a 2-0 lead. It has been all Vaqueros here the first half of this first half.
Even that, the Cougars aren't going to be having that tonight, and they need to know that. You get it, get rid of it.
Yeah, it seems as though it's got to be very quick touches today.
Yeah.
Santa Barbara is right on top of Canyons every time they touch the ball. And this, again, Santa Barbara playing it all the way back to Rotundo and controlling. You talk about that structure, Mari, and it seems they are comfortable with the movement inside of the structure.
Yes.
But especially on that back line creating that structure. And that's what we've seen so far.
Yeah, and it almost looks like chaotic movement. Almost, but it's still structured. Everyone has their place. If someone moves, someone else, fills in that position. But they always have 2 to 3 options available, and they move quickly.
See Ito making a run once again. Canyon's trying to call for an offside flag, and they'll get it. Whistle took a little bit of time to go, but it finally does. Ito again, Haru Ito, he comes off this near side, and he just kind of cuts right through. And it takes away the Canyons defender's space, having to try and come back and take aware of him.
I'm sure it's very disorienting. But it's almost like they only have 2 up top. I was trying to look at their structure beforehand. But it doesn't feel like it. Feels like they have at least 3 to 4 up there when they push up.
Seems as though Leo Rubio up there as well. Torres is really the front man in the group.
Yes.
As he's going to come off, take a little substitution here. Maybe dealing with something. Looked like he was reaching down towards his hamstring on his left side. So we'll get our first substitution for Santa Barbara here today.
Probably a good choice. I wouldn't want to risk anything with him at this point in the season.
Kevin Zendejas coming in. Zendejas started the first 5 games of the season for Santa Barbara. Coming off the bench here today. It's the 7th Vaqueros contest of the season. 2-3-1 on the year. Already with a 2-0 lead. Or I should say 2-0. 2-0 is hockey. I should say 2-0.
I would have said 2-0.
Yeah, I come from the wrong sport. So again, Santa Barbara back with control. There's Rodriguez, one of the goal scorers. We'll slip it off to Angel Diaz. Again, Diaz very comfortable playing it back to Rotundo.
It'll be interesting to see the way the Vaqueros play up top now. That we have a different person in the 9 position. 9 being a center forward, essentially.
Zendejas, a freshman out of Agora Hills High School, or Agora High School, I should say, not Agora Hills. In that position now, taking over for Juan Carlos Torres, who has his 4th goal of the season in the 5th minute of the match.
And something the Vaqueros are doing really, really well that I can even hear through the headphones. They're communicating. They're communicating very precisely and well.
Canyon's trying to push ahead here. Briseño. Slip back to Sandoval. Sandoval pressured. And we'll get a whistle for a clutch that time on Santa Barbara. Got to go against Aiden Tapia Palacios. But again, as soon as the Cougars touch the ball in any sort of traffic, there is a Vaquero defender right on top of them.
Yep, and it's absolutely working.
Maiden forced to play this one away. It's a couple of hops off the turf, collected by Santa Barbara.
Yeah, if the Cougars are not playing one-touched passes and quickly moving off the ball, I don't think they're going to have much of an opportunity tonight up top.
And it comes back to that. We've talked about it before with College of the Canyons on the men's side. That ability to finish when you do get your opportunities. You had one earlier, couldn't finish, although great defense by Santa Barbara on that one. But this is one of those games that's even more evident, where you're really going to have to finish when you have a few opportunities. So here's Santa Barbara, another good ball served down low. Running onto it is Gustavo Lorea Cardenas. It's taken away by Canyons, though. Not cleared very far. Cardenas trying to keep it in. Could not. It'll be a throw-in for Canyons. Throw in here. Cougars will bring it into play. There's Whitney. Drives it down. Sandoval curved back over his head back into the middle of the field, and that allowed Angel Diaz to get onto it. Then Diaz knocks it out off of Sandoval, and it'll be a throw-in for Santa Barbara. It's a good thought from Whitney, I think, Mari. Just a little bit too much curve towards the inside to not let Sandoval slip away.
Yeah. I mean, we need to try whatever. We need to try a number of different things right now to see what works, what's going to break them down. The Cougars, unfortunately, just haven't had the opportunity to try a lot of things offensively.
Ito's pass knocked down that time by Moronu. Vegas Roberts will play it back to the middle of the field. Jose Chavez trying to move around 3 bodies. Moronu then trying to get it to Sandoval, knocked away. Flying through defensively that time was Angel Diaz. He volleyed it away with the head. And Canyon's trying to come back the other way. Here's Whitney.
It's a good read on his on that defender there. The simple pullback. Haven't been able to see that much from the Cougars, so it's nice to see.
Briseño on service that time, knocked away. Fritz knocks it down on first touch. Here's Christopher Chavez trying to work. Drops it back. Now Fritz, middle of the field. This is the first time the Cougars have had sustained pressure.
I think this is as long as they've held the ball.
Whitney a little bit too aggressive on the service that time. Soleimani instead now. His ball knocked down. Again, Canyon's into the middle of the field. Left-footed strike, but well over. It's Contreras from 25 out. Drives it high. But again, you talked about sustained pressure. First time they've controlled the ball really all match.
And we got a shot out of it, too. They were able to be more pressured. You didn't see as much pressure from the Vaqueros for whatever reason. But get a shot out, just probably need a little bit more of a strike on that. And that's a great opportunity.
Just like that, Santa Barbara able to flip the field in 2 moves as Vega sent it down low. Then Dejas wasn't able to run onto it. Now Whitney going to try and layer one ahead, but knocked away by Santa Barbara.
And that's where I think the Cougars right there that's where they're a half step off, as they're not reading where the second ball is going to be. They see he's going to head it away, and they're just kind of waiting for it to bounce. They need to be using their judgment to where that second ball is going to be and be on it. And that's what the Vaqueros are doing really well. And that's why they're a half step ahead of the Cougars.
So 2-0 Santa Barbara. Here's Fritz going to play it onto the near side. Good first touch by Briseño, trying to work around his man. Has Vega beat for the moment, but cutting across is Angel Diaz with a beautiful tackle and knock away. McCaniels will have a throw in from deep.
I actually think you got away with a little bit of a handball there. I'm not going to lie to you on that time. Got lucky.
Canyon's trying to go back to work offensively. Ito off second ball. Trying to get it to Zendejas that time was Aiden Tapia Palacios, but could not. Then he was knocked down, so a foul on Canyons. A free kick coming for Santa Barbara.
It's a good read by Roberts and a good step through. Just fortunately kept stepping through and led to a foul there.
Canyons gets a takeaway here. Chavez will drop it back to Contreras. Contreras moving the wrong direction, now spins it back around. Lays it off on the near side. Briseño trying to work around his man in Vega. Briseño at the outside of the 18, ships it through the middle, but there was nobody cutting that time. Just late runs from Sandoval and Jose Chavez. It's a goal kick coming for Santa Barbara.
I mean, that was a great work down the left field there for a cross. Unfortunately, Canyons was not where they needed to be.
I think we'll see a substitution from Santa Barbara here. Gustavo Lorea Cardenas coming off. At least ran towards the bench. And we'll get Jose Ruiz Jr. coming in.
In the last few minutes, it looks like it has calmed down a little bit. Whether or not the Vaqueros got a little bit tired and stopped putting as much pressure, or the Cougars have found a way to hold the ball a little bit better.
Contreras took issue with, there's a handball called against Leo Rubio. Rubio then picked up the ball, started to walk away. Contreras took issue with that, kind of pushed him. The official having to calm everybody down. Center referee controlling. Here's Soleimani to set it for Canyons. Defended away by Santa Barbara. Popped back in by Vegas Roberts. But it's rolling towards the far corner, and the Vaqueros just going to let it roll out of play.
I love the step and being the first to that ball there. We just have to be a little more intentional with where we're placing it.
Santa Barbara quickly back into play. Vega down the near sideline. Offside flag against Zendejas. Cougars go quick. Soleimani and Fritz play catch here. Santa Barbara almost trapping at this point. A foul called against Canyons.
A little bit of frustration there on Canyon's
Yep.
side.
So free kick coming here for Santa Barbara. Sebastian Rodriguez just puts it in play. Carroll's content to control along their back line here. Diaz. Got it to Vega. Sandoval defends it out onto the pit or onto the football field, I think.
I think the bushes saved
Maybe
it.
the bushes saved it.
But you got to find it in there. So.
I know those are one of the many things on Phil Marcelin's list of things to remove here if he possibly can.
The bushes, really?
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think Phil likes them. I think he chopped out a bunch of them a while ago.
I liked them.
We like him because it protects us from the wind a little bit.
I love that.
The wind picks up in the wintertime here. Here's Vega. Back onto the far side. Hernan Sevilla had it. Santa Barbara smartly moving the ball around through the middle of the field. Now Zendejas from about 20. Maiden stops it. Rebound loose and driven up over by Ito. Haro Ito with a good opportunity on a loose ball. Maiden kind of fell down that time on the first save and almost could not recover.
Yeah, he went to punch it out, and unfortunately there was
Kinda got
someone
caught
right
between.
there. Yeah, I think it was in between a catch and a punch out. Probably as he saw that player standing in front of him. That's why you have to stay on goal side of your man on defense.
First ball won by Santa Barbara again. Second ball by Ito. Got it over to Rubio Jr., but he was knocked down by Soleimani, who took it away. Canyon's trying to quickly come back the other direction on the combination. Christopher Chavez has it taken away.
The transition by the Cougars was a lot better than what we've seen. It was a lot quicker, and that's what needs to happen. Just that turnover there, that's why it didn't happen. We held it for just slightly too long. We just can't do that with them.
Ito that time trying to feed a man through the middle, but nobody was there. Canyons just clears it away to relieve the pressure. It's been all Santa Barbara for the most part in this first half. Cougars have had a couple of opportunities, but have not been able to cash anything dangerous. Santa Barbara with a 2-0 lead, cashing in on two of their really superb opportunities early in the match. Here's another chance on the attack. Vega trying to work down against Briseño, who's able to win it away from him. And then Briseño going to get a throw in here for Canyons, as Ito at the last second knocked it off his foot. Oh, that one catches Vega in the face. Maybe high on the shoulder, he's laughing about it, which is why we're laughing about it. He wasn't ready for it.
Sometimes you just can't see it coming.
Here's a chance, Santa Barbara. Zendejas, his shot blocked. Good job coming back by Vegas Roberts that time. He got a body on it, and it'll be a foul on Santa Barbara. He was getting a little chippy here late in the first half. Play back to work quickly here.
And I don't think the center ref's really going to let that get too far, just from his conversations he has already had with some of the players. And I hope not.
I feel like Zendejas' frustration more so with maybe the fact that Vegas Roberts makes a good play defensively.
Yeah.
And then tries to protect the ball from him. That's what draws the foul. And then, everybody gets tied up and they talk. And now they're still talking back here on the Canyon side of midfield. Each had a tap on the chest for one another. Zendejas, good ball played off on the outside. Advantage played for Santa Barbara here as they ship it into the box. Briseño, the only one there, just going to clear it for relief. And substitutions coming for Santa Barbara. 2 subs coming in. Leo Rubio coming off the field. Haruito coming off as well. As we'll try and get you who's taken over. Looks like Peyton Rogers, one of the 2 coming onto the field, along with Isaac Diaz. 10 to go here in the first half. 2-0 Santa Barbara. Goals by Torres in the 5th minute, and Rodriguez in the 18th minute. Santa Barbara trying to work that combination back through the middle of the field once again. Jose Rubio Jr. now. Gets it over to Diaz.
The Cougars seem to have settled a little bit more in their structure throughout the half.
Still chances for Santa Barbara. This one popped in the air, and Maiden going to be able to make the play. Peyton Roberts trying to put some on it, just didn't have enough pace on the volley down deep. Christopher Chavez now with it. Back to Vegas Roberts. Ahead to Jeffrey Contreras. Now Whitney. More substitutions coming for Santa Barbara here. Xavier Salisbury coming off the field. Looks like Hernan Sevilla coming back in. Nope, scratch that. Taylor Brennan coming back in. Number of free substitutions in the 3C2A, so there is no limit on them. And you can come back in after you come out. So we will probably, I would imagine, see Juan Carlos Torres, Haruito, and the rest of the starters in the second half.
Yeah, that's a really neat thing, actually, especially with Santa Barbara's bench. They got a deep bench.
And it's interesting because we play under FIFA rules outside of that in the 3C2A. So in other college atmospheres, you do not have extra time, but we do in the 3C2A. You play the 45 minutes, and then once the buzzer goes, and that is it. In those instances, though, the official does have the opportunity to stop the clock.
Yes. I do remember that was a little bit of a shift for me.
When you moved on
Yeah.
to Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, you said it right? I love that. Gonzaga.
There's Santa Barbara again controlling. And that's all ultimately, you got that opportunity. That's ultimately the goal for most of these players as well, is to be able to move on to, whether it be the NAIA, the NCAA, Division III, Division II, Division I, get on to the next level. And that, I would imagine, is a big shift, because I believe in youth soccer it's just a time as well. It's not played under FIFA rules.
Oh, man.
It's, you'd have to think about
Have
it, right?
me think back, and who knows if they
Yeah, who knows what they do.
changed it now. Yeah, I think in club, when I was playing club, at least it was, I want to say unlimited in the first half, or maybe it was limited to 2 subs in the first half, or vice versa. One of those. I can't remember. It's too long ago. And then time, I want to say they added time.
This ball played out off of Santa Barbara's. Peyton Rogers was trying to run down the near sideline, and it just kind of skipped off him. So not a unified set of rules for those of you that have watched international soccer or professional soccer. So here's Canyons with an opportunity. Fritz, good job laying the ball off on the far side of the field to Chavez. Chavez couldn't do much with it. And Santa Barbara will have the last touch, so Canyons will get a throw in here.
It's a good ball through. It just wasn't quick enough. That defender came in like 2 strides.
And we mentioned that multiple times, how quickly it seems the Cougars need to get the ball off their foot when they do have an opportunity. Sandoval trying to create one that time, could not. Once again, Angel Diaz back there just steadfast, knocks it down, gets it back to Rotundo. Get all the way back onto the Canyon side. There's Briseño, stops it up. Whitney needs to be careful, has Zendejas right behind him. Ran it forward. Canyons will get it ahead into the middle of the field, but it was behind Josue Chavez. And again, Rotundo will stop it and just wait for some pressure and pick it up.
There was not this much of the Vaqueros moving the ball kind of slowly around this when we started the game. It was, I don't want to say frantic because they knew what they were doing, but it was 1-2 passes all the way down
Just
the
quick.
field, and definitely slowed down. So I'm curious the second half how they will come out and how the Cougars will.
And it seems as though that first 5 or 10 minutes, it was really the first 20 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
It was very much a Santa Barbara onslaught, and the Cougars finally got their legs under them here. Santa Barbara will play it along onto the outside on the far side. Isaac Diaz running onto it. He'll try and set something up. Trying to go 1v1 against Soleimani, who's able to knock it away for a moment, but then now back into the middle again. And this time defended away, but another corner for Santa Barbara coming. Santa Barbara already dangerous on a corner opportunity earlier. Chance to try and put one together here. Short this time. They'll play it all the way back. Tapia Palacios serves it towards the box. Nobody there. Everybody was moving out for Santa Barbara, so Hunter Maiden able to gather it. Foul called against Santa Barbara. A little from the Santa Barbara side, thought it was a little soft. Whistle took a little bit of extra time to go as play was continuing on, but
I mean,
slow it down.
it wasn't horrible, but you also can't go through someone's legs to get the ball.
Well, that's just the nature of sports as well. You always
Right.
think the call against you is
Of course.
improper.
Of course.
Here's Fritz. Good job by Fritz that time to lean off his man. Now Vegas Roberts will go back to work. Roberts a long run this time. Overlapping into the attack. Ball over his head. Good combination, but Sandoval's back heel just didn't get to him. Santa Barbara trying to go back the other way. Peyton Rogers lays it off, but Vega not going to be able to run onto it as Briseño was the first there. Here's Vega again. Vega waiting for help. Now just runs it into 2 and steps right around both of the Cougars. Now a chance for Santa Barbara. Good recovery by Whitney to bail out both Briseño and Contreras. And one thing I don't like on that, it was the shoulders from Contreras and Briseño after they got beat by Vega.
Yeah.
Both kind of slumped the shoulders.
Noticed that. I knew they shouldn't have been beat. It was a little bit of lazy defending, I think, on their part. Good move. Great footwork, but I think it was just and communication-wise with each other. Like, you got it, and someone's got to go.
Down to the final 45 seconds here of the first half. Shouldn't be much stoppage time here. Santa Barbara just content to control. And with the 2-0 lead, they have that luxury at this point to wait and pick their spots on the attack.
Yeah, and since we've seen it calm down, maybe that was their choice.
Cougars trying to press ahead here and create a little pressure. Santa Barbara, I think, content just to take a 2-0 lead into halftime. Maybe one final push. Defended away.
If I were the Cougars, I'd be taking advantage of that.
Here's Sandoval. Needed to move it quick. Had a man cutting down the near side, but just wasn't aware of him. And Briseño, and that'll be the final whistle of the first half. 2-0 Santa Barbara, halftime here from the Cougar soccer field. Santa Barbara with the 2-0 lead. Second half action, we come back.
Hey there, Cougar. I forgot the Cougar's name.
Oh, I know it is. It's... Wait, I forgot its name too.
Hey, bro, what's that cat's name again?
I have no idea. Who is that again? I forgot.
Who is that?
Hey, do you need help getting registered? Let's find your schedule. What's your name again?
Hey Cooper, come on in. Are you here for a student ID card?
Oh, it's Cooper. The Cougar's name is Cooper.
Oh, Cooper.
I don't know. Man, I don't know, man.
Man, that's Cooper, man.
No,
That's Cooper.
Cooper.
Oh,
Cooper the Cougar.
Yeah,
Cooper the
that's
Cougar.
Cooper. Okay.
Wait, isn't your name Cooper?
Here we go, Cooper. 1, 2, 3, cheese.
Hey, Chancellor, Cooper is here to see you. Cooper, thanks for coming in to see me, but I have just one question for you. What's your last name?
Here we go again.
Welcome to College of the Canyons, where students become the success stories of tomorrow. Whether you're already in the workforce or just getting started, our flexible schedules are a game changer. And students don't just earn degrees, they catapult into desirable careers in top 4-year universities for just $46 per unit. Quality education without crushing debt. Ditch the cookie-cutter mold of college and make college work for you. Register now at canyons.edu/schedule.
The Jersey Mike's catering box is the easiest way to feed your friends. The hard part is picking your sub. That's why we're having a draft. With the first pick, Sarah from Carolina selects number 13, the original Italian.
You know, I trusted my gut, and that's exactly where the sub's gonna go, so.
Hold on, we've got a trade. Jake traded his second pick with me, because I'm starved. Freshly sliced subs to go, wherever you and your friends go. Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Whether we're on the move or stuck in one place, it's with us, comforting, healing, and transforming lives. It's the power of you. With 4 world-class hospitals and over 170 clinics across Southern California, together, we're building a healthier community. We're your neighbors, your friends, your family. It begins with you. UCLA Health.
Can I get it Mike's way? What's happening?
And your free sub. Enjoy.
Hey. That was super weird.
Oh, that? Nah. She just used the shore points you can now earn from chip and drink purchases to get free sub through the app. Download the Jersey Mike's app and earn rewards towards free subs with every sub, Pepsi, and Lay's you purchase.
Make hosting your next event easy with the Dr. Diane G. Van Hook University Center. With over 30 meeting spaces, wireless video teleconferencing capabilities, food service, and technical support available, the University Center has everything you need to make your next event shine. Conveniently located near the 5 and 14 freeways in Santa Clarita, the University Center offers easy access to local airports and many attractions, making it the ideal meeting place for everyone. To learn more about our rental options or to book now, visit canyons.edu/University Center.
Welcome back in. We go second half action here. Cougars and Santa Barbara. 2-0 Santa Barbara lead after the first 45 minutes. So Cougars trying to come from behind here. Matt Robinson, Mari Kneisel with you. So we continue on what's turned into a little bit of a chillier night here in Santa Clarita.
Yeah, I'm unprepared.
Yeah,
And
I think we both are. Outside here in the elements. Well, it was 112 degrees for 4 straight days.
I know.
And now all of a sudden it's 65 degrees at night, so it'll certainly...
Can't complain, but it is a lot of going back and forth.
I don't know which wardrobe to be in at this point. Canyon's trying to get onto an attack. Fritz with a header that's knocked down. Now a chance blocked by Chavez. Contreras now trying to work for one. Cougars with a quick pace here early on. This ball served into the box. Doesn't connect. Now Chavez tries to take a shot with the right foot on 2 hops and misses over the net.
It's good to see the Cougars come out with that aggression. It even looked like the Vaqueros came out with that too, but the Cougars matched it. We'll see where we go as we get underway here.
For Santa Barbara with 2 goals in the first half. One in the first 5 minutes from Juan Carlos Torres, who's back in there now on the front line. The other from Sebastian Rodriguez, his first of the year in the 18th minute. Also got a little bit of an eclipse going on the moon coming up quickly
got a good
here.
View.
Might catch a glimpse of that on your screen. Santa Barbara with a change in goal. Do we know who this goalie is for them? Yeah, give me a second. Did you say 1? There's a free kick chance for Canyons. A foul from Santa Barbara. Contreras. Is it Velez? Okay. Velez now in goal for Santa Barbara. So that's a change with how Santa Barbara maybe will operate after Rotundo in that first half was pressing well out of the goal for most of that first half. Here's Santa Barbara trying to get on a counter after the Canyons free kick. This cross goes behind the net. Canyons back to work.
They do look a lot more confident coming out the second half with the ball.
A little change in the lineup as well with Steven Garcia in there. Garcia in a battle right now for the ball, and a foul going to be called against Santa Barbara. Going to go against Hardin Sevilla. Soleimani will quickly play. Here's Vegas Roberts. Down low to Garcia on the near side on a run. Defended away. First touch on the clearance that time by Zendaya. Canyons Fritz with the takeaway, but he lost it. Gonna play all the way back to Velez. Cougars now scoreless streak. Stretching to 5 halves. So 225 minutes now. It's actually 2:30 as we're 5 minutes gone. Foul going to be called this time against Leon McCallion.
I think the Vaqueros are giving them a little bit more room to breathe when they have the ball, and the Cougars have adapted to their play a little bit, and they're able to get the ball moving forward more confidently.
There's a good takeaway from Vegas Roberts. Vic was trying to cut it to Gage Fritz, but Fritz wasn't on a run. Fritz able to recover though. And I will say I've noticed that, Mari, that first touches from Canyons have come a little crisper here so far in the early part of the second half, and Santa Barbara much more content than that frantic pace they had in the first half.
Yes. I think that's allowed the Cougars to do what they want to do a little more. I think they were able to get that a little bit close to the end of the first half, and they're able to carry it over. And I was a little surprised. I thought the Vaqueros were going to come out and be as aggressive as they were. But, I mean, that is a hard pace to keep up. I'll give it to that. And the Cougars have adapted a little more, so.
Again, Santa Barbara trying to work. Juan Carlos Torres that time takes it off the chin. Couldn't control. Canyons with another clear high into the air. Santa Barbara will play it back to Velez. He'll swing to Xavier Salisbury. Out of the near side, Herman Sevilla. Again, Santa Barbara back with control. Canyons trying to get in on attack here. They're going to throw in off the far side of the field. Vegas Roberts. Roberts, Whitney, and Soleimani have been in there the whole time, along with Fritz. Pretty much the entire roster for Canyons, with the exception of a few, have been out there the entire match so far. Canyons will get a chance for a set piece from about halfway down on the midfield side of Santa Barbara. Contreras to serve this one into the box, defended away. Contreras with some pressure on him from behind, gets it to Fritz. Off on the far side of the field. Callion. Canyons down, working through the corner. As Christopher Chavez down there.
Chavez has been battling with the outside back there this entire match, and I would say he is a little bit faster than him, and I love the, I'll take you on 1v1, but I think it needs to be a 1-2 pass and I move around him instead of that 1v1.
Canyons with some service into the box that time, but defended away. Zendejas coming way down low to defend that time. Good recovery that time by Steven Garcia. Got it to Fritz. Fritz with an opportunity. Didn't decide to take it with the left foot. Tried to pass it into the box. Got it back after it was defended by Santa Barbara. Now a chance that's driven well wide. Didn't even really have a shot from one touch from, I think, Contreras off the left foot after Fritz had worked it to that side.
Yeah, I thought maybe Fritz was going to shoot it with his left. It looked from where we're at, he had the opening for that. I don't know if he was looking for like a little bit more of an opening, but I think that was his opportunity.
And I think Gage Fritz more of a guy that's going to move the ball. That's what we saw a lot last year. Not necessarily a shoot first kind of player.
Yeah.
But maybe
he can do it.
Yeah, maybe in that instance needs to, right?
But yeah, it's gonna, because he is more of a distributor. You got to work that into your brain.
Here's Soleimani with some room to operate. Tries to place it down into the box, but nobody there.
I can hear him. It's a 1v4.
Here's Santa Barbara back to work.
I think the Cougars are high pressing, just as the Vaqueros were in that first half, and it is causing them to slow down. It's causing them to switch from that decision they were gonna make, and now they're making a different one. And here we are with a turnover.
Canyons turns it right back over, though. Santa Barbara unable to corral cleanly, and the Cougars will go back to work. Here's Zalamea. Tried to send it through the middle of the field. Got it knocked down. Gets it right back, but lost it. Whitney there to help out. I think you're right. The high press so far for Canyons has created more of an issue.
Yeah, I think they
Has Santa Barbara a little bit more on their heels?
Yeah, I think it's proven to work for them, and they need to. And that was a great ball and touch on the outside there.
Briseño just couldn't finish it off.
Yeah, it was a great touch right past that outside back, and then unfortunately the center back was right there.
Hard contact that time in the middle of the field on McCallion. Wanted a foul, but nothing there. Roberts able to keep it on Santa Barbara's half of midfield. Now he'll have some room to operate. Canyons trying for a combination going back across the far side of the field, but Santa Barbara cleans it up, and now they've got numbers trying to work back the other way. Zendejas cuts it off. Torres, but he's offside. Good step up by Soleimani that time to force Torres off.
Almost looked like that was the only option he could do. And it paid off.
First real attack chance for Santa Barbara here in the second half. Soleimani's pass. He's trying to feather it in towards Steven Garcia, but Garcia wasn't quite ready for it. Velez will play it out to the middle of the field. It's taken away by Canyons. Contreras over to Chavez. Down in the corner, Briseño takes a shot towards the the near side post and just missed it wide. I think I'm not sure if it was more of a shot or a pass. Looking for a volley down in the box.
Shot, but
you would know better than me.
yeah. It's a little hard for this angle.
Yeah, our angle's
but
not the
I
greatest.
thought it was more of a shot and a good one at that. Just needed to be placed a little more to the left.
So he misses on the near side from the far side of the field. It'll stay 2-0. But Canyons again pressing the pace, and you can kind of get that feel of the sense of urgency from the Cougars that they want to get one, need to get one here quickly.
Yeah, and we just saw that with the 1-2 shot, and that's what it's going to take. And the Cougars are in it. They're in it now, and they know that. They've had several opportunities this half, and they know how to get through now.
Substitutions coming for Santa Barbara. Looks like Vega coming off. Manny Lopez in. Zendejas and Garcia trying to battle for it. Garcia going to be called for a late foul. This one popped into the box. Maiden coming out to take it away. Some good sportsmanship back in the box that time from both Angel Diaz and Vegas Roberts. Diaz was cruising in as Maiden came out and decided to go down to make sure not to contact Maiden. And then Roberts said thank you and picked him up off the floor. Canyons will go back the other way on an attack here. This one served towards goal, but Velez there to collect it. And again, Santa Barbara content to just keep away for the moment on their half of midfield back near their goal.
And they did the work early, although really hard work early, and not that they're not trying anymore, but because they did that work, they're in a better position.
Cougars get away with a handball that time. Ball hit Garcia on the lower part of the arm. Would have sprung Zendejas. And then a foul called against Canyons here.
A little bit of chatting with the ref going on right now.
Both sides with conversations here.
Looks like we're having both legs cramping over here. I've had that happen to me. Almost in the exact same spot.
And I think they're going to just sub here.
Yeah.
Injury sub for Santa Barbara.
Once they start cramping, it's you don't really have much. Oh yeah.
Sevilla just going to come off on this near side. So they bring in Xavier Salisbury here. Release Sevilla now. Santa Barbara just controlling here.
Go. We get that. Hey, I'm stepping. Cut left, Ollie, cut left.
All the way back down towards their own goal this time, Santa Barbara.
And you see the Cougars continuing to press. It's tiring, but it's paid off for them.
It's created their best opportunities of the match so far. This is where they need to be careful. Santa Barbara on a counter. Zendejas into the middle of the field, back heel towards the middle from Santa Barbara, and the Cougars able to clean it up. Tapia Palacios trying to play it down low. And it'll go out off of Santa Barbara. It'll be a Canyons goal kick. It was Gustavo Lorea Cardenas trying to play the back heel back into the middle to Zendejas, who was coming back down and just couldn't connect with it. Juan Carlos Torres checking out. Haruito coming back in.
And this is their time where they can, you know, be creative and have a little bit of fun because they have that wiggle room. They feel confident enough to have that wiggle room.
For Canyons, it's got to be start.
Honestly, I don't think maybe they should be doing that. As Canyons has been on their half, I'd say the majority now of the game.
The Cougars get an opportunity here on a corner. These are the opportunities that Canyons now needs to bury as time's starting to tick away more and more against you. 25 minutes to go just about here in the second half. Trailing by 2, you need 1. You'd like it right now if you can get it.
Yeah, and someone we're missing is Carrillo. He is a big component of their offense in the air, especially on corner kicks.
Yeah, especially on these set pieces. They nearly had one with Whitney down, though. Soleimani was down there as well. This ball served into the box again. Defended away. Cougars will control Fritz, the last man back here. Strange spot for Gage Fritz.
Looked confident enough.
Yep, Contreras.
Go back there.
Yeah, as they've pressed Whitney and Soleimani well up. Good step in by Uli Sevilla that time to knock it out of play. And again, Canyon's going to come right back in with it. So here goes Sebastian Rodriguez. And again, those stoppages help Santa Barbara. Diaz off the far side. Manny Lopez now. Ito had it knocked out by Canyons. It'll be a throw-in for Santa Barbara. Off the far side of the field. Vaqueros with 2 goals in the first half. Torres in the 5th minute, his 4th of the year. Rodriguez in the 18th minute, his 1st of the season. That's been all they've needed so far. So the Cougars have had opportunities, just have not been able to get anything clean enough to try and cash it home. Long run this time for Alejandro Zalamea, couldn't catch up to it. Santa Barbara will play it all the way back to Velez, who's standing maybe 5 feet outside the goal. Played it ahead. Fritz was able to knock it down. Canyons will connect onto the outside this time. Briseño trying to cut down a man. Defended away. Fritz there to keep the pressure up. Into the middle of the field, Contreras. Contreras, just the ball himself, kind of running into 4 bodies. Now Fritz serves it far side. Garcia, but it's too soft to be dangerous. And Velez knocks it down. Sandoval got contact on that ball, played onto the far side. That forces Santa Barbara to kind of play back recovery here. Velez.
I think it's something Phil talked about at halftime.
Foul going to be called against Canyons.
About the pressure. Like, it's completely different from the first half for the Cougars.
Chavez a little too aggressive that time against Velez, tripped him up.
Yeah, can't do that.
But still, it shows that willingness to go after the attack, I think, from Canyons.
I don't know. I think doing this against other teams is a must. They have to. This works very, very well for them.
And again, Vela is going to have to play this away with some pressure. Cougars have had the better of the pressure here, just have not been able to find anything. Credit the Santa Barbara defense. Roberts, little head fake that time on a cell. Gets a stoppage. Canyons goes right back quickly. Contreras, a deep shot. Missed it well over. Maybe just a touch too far out, touch too much pace on it.
Yeah, I mean, he had that one in the first half that was from probably around the same same number of yards out. And I love the idea. We just got to have that right shot. It's got to be a little more targeted.
Again, Vela is dangerously playing it away. Canyon's able to get first contact with Vegas Roberts. Contreras over to help. Whistle, foul going to be called against Santa Barbara. Little tug from Leo Rubio. Canyon's asking for something extra, but not going to get it for the ball being played away from the spot. Cougar's going to press everybody but Briseño forward here. Is Contreras going to take this one? Briseño going to stand back with Gustavo Lorea. Contreras served into the box. Roberts was there, popped up in the air, and then collected by Velez after a whistle. The official, I don't think, liked the contact or the close contact with Velez on the initial cruise through.
We've been protecting the keepers tonight. That's all right.
Couldn't tell if there was contact with Velez that time. I didn't think there was.
I didn't see it, but, you know, that's why I'm not a ref.
We're also way over here.
Yeah.
Again, Fritz with another takeaway. Middle of the field. No shot attempt, but a foul going to be called. Zalamea creating that time. And now Canyons with a dangerous position, 20 yards out, maybe 25 out. And
Again, they're asking for
yep,
a little
asking
bit
for
more.
something, not getting it.
I don't know what they're asking for.
We'll pace off the yardage here. Be right about the top of the 18 where the wall is. Contreras, I think, going to be the one to take this. He's been the one to take the set pieces all night. Tries to bend it around the wall and a good save.
It was a good drive. And I think if he has that kind of drive with other shots that he's had, I think that'll be a good shot on goal. Have a good opportunity there.
So it's not as though the Cougars have not generated their chances, just have not been able to cash. That's maybe their best one of the match right there. Velas with a good save. Now here's Zalamea, who created the last foul, trying to work along the outside. Still battling for it, 1v3. That ball touched up high on a Vaquero, but play continues on, and then a whistle for a foul on Zalamea.
I'm not sure. Is right in front of the AR. Maybe he didn't think he really controlled it.
It's interesting, letting him play at times, not letting him play at other times. It's
You know,
kind of a
and,
back and
and
forward.
sometimes the ref will even it out if he knows.
Zalamea unfortunately falling down that time. Canyons gets a takeaway. Zalamea now with it. Garcia just ships it in towards goal, and
Knows that wasn't the right.
Velas
Right
shows off his handles for a second there. Time ticking away here. Velas drives that one all the way back down to Canyon's side of midfield. Whitney unable to clear it. Ito now will get it back from Lopez. They continue to play catch. Now service towards the box. Fritz was there to knock it away as Angel Diaz was cruising in.
He was going for a bicycle kick there.
Actually, it was Aiden Tapia Palacios that was cruising in.
Good defending, but that would have been fun.
Santa Barbara will play the advantage here off a would-be foul. There's Rodriguez, one of the goal scorers, slips it ahead. Gustavo Lorea Cardenas couldn't get to it. Instead, it'll be played back by Maiden, but offside was Zalamea on the near side.
Probably wasn't expecting
Yeah,
that.
I think caught
long of
everybody
a
on the
ball.
field off guard. Fritz going to be called for a foul here.
I think that was, I would call it a tiny bit of a dive. There was contact, but it wasn't that much. Sometimes yelling helps.
Play on now is Zalamea into the corner of the field, trying to play it back into the middle. Roberts able to save it before it went out and created a Santa Barbara corner. And the Vaqueros just going to play all the way back to their half of midfield. And going to end up all the way going back to Velez to just take more time off the clock, really.
I don't think they've had as many opportunities offensively, Santa Barbara has, than they had in the first half. But they've put themselves in a position to where they can have this maintenance of moving it around and having the patience.
When you talked about that, they did the work in the first 20 minutes of the match and now can just kind of control pace as they see fit. Granted, the Cougars have had the better opportunities, but...
Yeah. And I think the Cougars, they've had the better opportunities, but we talk about quality opportunities. I think we can narrow that down to just a couple.
Yep. Absolutely.
I don't know if Santa Barbara has ever truly, I think only a couple times they felt really, threatened.
And I think the best chance so far in the match is the set piece from Canyons that Contreras drove on that Velez made look like a very easy save. Drop ball and we go back to work after one of the Cougars was down.
So that's important not to become lackadaisical on Santa Barbara's end of, a little overly confident that just because they haven't had those threatening opportunities doesn't mean that, a quick touch and shot is not going in.
Santa Barbara substitution coming. Tapia Palacios coming off. And it looks like Jose Rubio Jr. back in. Fritz will clear the throw. Diaz came all the way down. Canyon's got a takeaway. Contreras trying to slip it onto the near side. Zalamea was pressuring Sevilla, but he was able to play it back to Velez.
I know the Cougars are looking to get it, get rid of it, get moving, but it really hasn't worked for them to send the ball down and run onto it. It just hasn't worked. They've been better off with those closer 1-2 passes, and they've had so many turnovers just from trying to offensively send it, but unfortunately, like, they're in a foot race now, and Santa Barbara's won almost every time.
There's a AR flag on the far side for a foul, it looks like. Or no, it's a ball out of place. It's the Canyons throwing. That's a good point, Mari, that Santa Barbara's won pretty much every foot race. They've run every ball into the box as well, pretty much, against Canyons on the defensive side.
And the times they have, it has worked. It's because it's been the perfect ball and the perfect touch, and that's very few and far in between.
Credit Santa Barbara, they've been able to clean up anything that's not been perfect. Santa Barbara has a player down cramping.
And I think he was calling a foul on Santa Barbara on that.
I don't know if he was calling a foul or...
Well,
I think he was pointing at the player that was down.
he was telling Roberts, because Robert said something about it. He saying do you want advantage from your defensive third? So that makes me think it was a foul, and even Roberts didn't know what the foul was.
No, even he said, I just heard him say it was a
Okay.
drop ball for the player that was injured. And that's why he was saying to Vegas
All right, I haven't
that you can't have the
seen
advantage off your defensive third.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah,
You gotta take care of the players if it doesn't go out.
Yep. So Lonnie slipped there for a second, but was able to recover.
Seen several players slip tonight. I think because it's been a little cooler, it's a little
A little more dew on the field.
yeah. Oh, and he is still down.
It's Vegas Roberts that's injured. Down back behind the play.
Oh man, I hope that slip didn't get him.
Looks like he's all right here.
I hope so. It's always scary when a player slips by themselves and then goes down.
Scanions will throw it back in after it went out off of Santa Barbara. Getting towards 10 minutes here. Roberts right back into play.
You know, something you don't see too often with center backs is them getting involved in the attack like Roberts does. And he's good at it. I like to see it. It's fun. You just have to make sure.
Santa Barbara makes it 3-0 just like that on a counter. Haruito able to cash it in. Santa Barbara has not had any really good opportunities other than that one here in the second half. And they make it work.
Goal, Santa Barbara, number 10.
And it kind of goes into what I was saying, right? You have a center back. That's why we don't see center backs, attack very often. And I love to see it, but you have to make sure, someone is covering you or, trust that your team's covering you. There's got to be some communication in that. That was a very quick counter.
Itu's third of the year. Comes in the 80th minute of the match. 10 minutes, under 10 minutes to go. This one pretty much in the books for Santa Barbara. Should pick up their 3rd win of the season, barring a crazy, at this point, comeback from College of the Canyons. There's Vegas Roberts pointing out some directions, trying to get bodies to move a little bit here. Cougars trying to play one down in. Velez will keep it in play.
He's got to play the ball soon. He's held it for a while. Goes right into game management.
We talked about that in the women's match, kind of that ability to just let time melt away.
It's incredibly frustrating on the other side. The other side of it.
But it's that game within the game.
Yep.
Here's Santa Barbara, Laura Contreras. Into the middle of the box. Maiden with a good save. Rebound chance. And it's in. Zendejas with his first of the season.
And this is what the Vaqueros were waiting for. Their patient play paid off. And the Cougars broke down. They've been so solid the whole half, and that's very disheartening for sure after you've controlled the pace of the game, and especially offensively.
Santa Barbara going to make some final subs here. You're exactly right. Canyons controlling this second half excellently up until the last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think the Vaqueros have been okay with that, really, as there hasn't been anything super threatening, and they've just been able to take advantage of the 2 counters that they've had and quickly, and that was the same pace that we've seen them play in that first 20 minutes.
And really it has. It's been only 2 counters here for Santa Barbara, but that's all it took. Those 2 quick ones. They have stretched the lead to 4-0. So now it's just a matter of ticking down the final few moments. Santa Barbara with a 4-0 advantage.
We just got our first card. Oh, no. Is that the first card?
Yeah.
Yeah, first
You're thinking
card.
of the women's match where we had a card.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that was on Briseño? Briseño. Yeah.
For Briseño this year, it's just his first card of the season, so not in danger of missing any time yet.
What is that rule? Is it you get 2 or 3 and you miss your next match?
I think so. I would not know it's
Not sure
5. Brendan Moskal says it's 5 yellows.
Okay.
Brendan, our statistician here today.
He played here.
He did.
Played for the men's team.
Went on to the NAIA.
When was that? Back
Simpson
in
University.
Back in 2015, 15, 16.
He's a young buck. Foul going to be called against Canyons. Then again, so are you, Mari.
Yeah. So they say. Hey, I
certainly doesn't feel like it anymore.
I
right?
will always say that soccer ages you 10 years. It is hard. Any contact sport does that.
Yeah, I won't tell you how old I feel after playing years and years of hockey.
Hmm?
I won't tell you how old I feel after playing years and years of hockey. things that are broken that don't work well anymore.
It's a new thing every other week.
There's Santa Barbara with another opportunity. Service into the box on the far side, just misses. Follow-up chance blocked. Briseño clears it high in the air.
And it's just they're so dangerous when they get into that final third. They send so many players up there, and they all move, so it makes it hard to figure out who's defending who. And that's where they need to be disciplined in their defensive
stance,
structure.
defensive postures.
Yeah.
I have that wonderful 4, 5, and 6 a.m. newscast that I have to be a part of for some reason.
It's a great ball across. Saw it happening.
And again, Santa Barbara working.
It's again one of those
Yep,
quick.
that quick strike counter that we saw in the first half.
Yep. It's interesting the Vaqueros turned it on in the last, 10 minutes
10
of
minutes.
the match. They just felt like they wanted to, it feels like.
Credit them. They've played incredibly well from the jump.
Yes. They've been structured all around defensively and offensively.
Well, and that was one of the things we commented on, too. Every time the Cougars have had an attack, it hasn't seemed like Santa Barbara's been out of control. They've been very cautious with it.
Yeah.
Have played everything off nicely and really taken away a lot of the opportunities for Canyons.
Even in a threatening, a couple threatening situations that Canyons have had, they never felt panicked. They never looked panicked.
Cougars just trying to break the goalless drought at this point. Down into the corner. We'll get a whistle. Stretching on 270 now for Canyons without a goal. So I think at this point, that's really maybe kind of the focus is just get one.
Yeah.
And turn some momentum going into their next match.
And that was their
That was another opportunity.
good opportunity to do so. Just get a touch on that. I think he was surprised to have it land where it did.
Fritz now with it. Roberts plays it onto the near side. Not much from Canyons in terms of the attack. Santa Barbara trying to go on one. Paco trying to get there. Now here's Canyons. Salamea on the near side, 1v1. All the way down to the touchline on the back line and put it right into the breadbasket of Ellis, who collects, and that'll pretty much take us to the final whistle.
Yeah, it was a way to stay with that one.
And that will do it. Santa Barbara gets their third win of the year. 3-1 now on the season for the Vaqueros. The Cougars fall to 1-4-2 now on the year with the loss. That'll do it for us here. For Mark and Eisel, I'm Matt Robinson. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope to see you on Friday, as we will have some women's volleyball action for you on the live stream here on the 20th against Moore Park College at 6 p.m. Then some soccer again next week, and soccer back in action on Tuesday next week. Have a good rest of your night, everybody. We'll see you next time.